Hi, this is Ken Martin from Coast to Coast TV. Welcome back. As you can probably tell, my around North America trip hasn't happened due to COVID. But at any rate, we spent the summer doing a lot of road trips through British Columbia and Alberta. We just completed one through BC up to Jasper, over to Edmonton, Alberta, and down to Medicine Hat for a small COVID-friendly wedding, and then back through Banff, BC, back to Whistler. Total of 3,600 kilometers and about 2,200 miles. So it's a good example of a road trip. So this video is all about the planning that goes into this kind of thing. Just thought I'd share what we do. I know everybody's got their own strategy for long distance EV travel, but we've got our own, so I thought we'd put it up. This particular trip has the benefit of all the aspects of what you would come across in a long distance trip. It's October, so in British Columbia we're into snow tires and a little bit of snow on some of the mountain passes. Obviously the cold weather that impacts range, and there are a couple stretches along this particular route where level 3 chargers are few and far between, so you have to get into the strategy around what to do with how to deal with level 2 chargers. So let's go. Break it down into 4 steps. Know your vehicle, know your route, plan your route, and relax and enjoy the trip. So, knowing your vehicle. We have a 2017 Chevy Bolt. The range we get in the summertime and optimal temperatures is anywhere from 350 to 400 kilometers. That's pretty standard for 2017 Bolt. But now we're into October, so we put the winter tires on. Very anecdotally, that drops your range efficiency by about 10 to 15%. Also, we're in lower temperatures, between 5 and 12 degrees centigrade. So that knocks another 10 or 15% off. So for this particular trip, our range is down to about 300 to 320 kilometers. In the wintertime, when it gets really cold and you put your ski rocks on, if you're going on a ski trip, and the cold weather, we get down to about 220 kilometers of range. So you also have to understand how a Chevy Bolt charges, particularly the 2017 to 2019 range. Charging is great in a level 3 charger, 45, 50 kilowatts, power accepted. The problem is once you get to about 55%, the Chevy Bolt software ramps down what the vehicle will accept. So if you can see the chart here that I put together with my measurements off the torque app, there's a little bit of a drop around 55%, and then a significant drop at 68%. You drop down all the way to 22 kilowatts of input power. So that cuts your charging speed in half once you get to 68, 69%. That obviously has time implications, but it also has cost implications if you're paying by the minute. So our strategy is to usually, if there's chargers available, is to pull the plug at 68, 70% and move on to the next charger. The other big impactor for charging speed is your battery temperature, and that's based on outdoor temperature. If you're charging in real cold weather without the battery being warm, your charging speed is going to be slow until the battery warms up. If you can see on the other chart I put together last winter, you really need to get up to 21 degrees to have full charge speed capacity, and that can take up to a half hour if you're starting from a cold battery. Number 3, planning your route. Like I mentioned earlier, our strategy is to charge frequently but less time. Now that works if you've got lots of chargers along the way. In Western Canada, the charging capability has really improved in the last couple of years, so you can do that for the most part. We like to drive about 150 kilometers, charge for about a half hour, and then move on. When planning your charge stops, we always have a principle of making sure we have our primary target stop plus 2 others beyond that within range. Too often you can show up at a charge stop and have it either busy or non-functional. And if that charge stop is at the end of your range, you're kind of hooped. So we always try to have at least two more backup, fallback chargers. Now in this particular trip, that was due to some charging hassles we had along the Tramscanda highway. That certainly came into play. On this particular route, we have a section along the way, about almost 500 kilometers, where there are no level 3s from Valemont through to Edmonton. That's a real challenge, so you have to figure out what you're going to do. We do, when we're overnighting, always try to find a hotel or a motel with a level 2 charger, so you get topped up overnight, and it's usually free. At the very least, there are a lot of motels that have a 120 outlet available that you can at least get 50 to 100 kilometers overnight just plugging in with your AC charger. Now, the one thing we always do when we take with us is certainly the AC charger and a decent extension cord that can handle the power, but we also have a Tesla J1772 adapter, which really helps a lot because there are more Tesla destination chargers along the way, particularly at motels and hotels, that we can now use. And certainly on the trip from Valemont to Edmonton, in the town of Edson, right halfway in the middle, they only have Tesla destination chargers. So that was a big help for us. If you're taking your AC charger adapter and you have at least we have the Lextron Telsa adapter, a couple tips for securing those. You don't want them easily lifted when you're off having a coffee or something. The Lextron charger has a little lock spot in the connector handle. So if you slip a little keyed lock in there, it secures it, so you can't easily disconnect it from your cable. Likewise, the AC charger cable that you use for 120 charging that comes with the Bolt, that is apparently about 500 bucks or so to replace, so you certainly don't want to lose that. So what we do is we just tie a couple little loose knots in the cable, in the middle of the cable, and drop the knotted piece inside the door where your driver's feet are, and then close the door. And the foam weather strips along the door are soft enough that you can close the door without damaging the cable, and but it prevents anybody from pulling the cable out from under your door. So it's sort of a secure way of doing it without a lot of hassle. Okay, step 4. Relax. If you like doing long road trips fast, long distance with very few gas stops, then an EV trip is not for you. You add a little bit more time with an EV trip, but it can make for a much more relaxing trip. We always take our breaks having a coffee or lunch, and we do a lot of walks around a lot of small towns that we never would have stopped in before. So if you take the mental attitude that you're on a nice trip and you're going to go see something, then EV road trips are wonderful and well worth the little bit of added time and hassle it takes to do the charging. So that's it for this video. I am going to put together another one with the detail of what we did experience on the trip, and we did come up with many of the issues that I've talked about. Thanks for watching.